Do you feel a mysterious stirring inside? A sense that the life you've been living just doesn't fit anymore, and a deeper truth is calling out to you? Maybe it shows up as a quiet dissatisfaction, that hollow feeling you get even when everything on the surface seems right. Or maybe it's been more like an earthquake, a career, a relationship, or a core belief suddenly shattering, leaving you feeling lost in the wreckage. If any of that sounds familiar, I want you to hear this: you're not going crazy. You are likely beginning the most profound journey of your life, a spiritual awakening. This isn't a process of becoming someone new. It's the journey of remembering who you've always been, underneath all the layers of conditioning, expectations, and fear. It's your soul's journey home. As a spiritual mentor who has navigated my own chaotic and disorienting awakening, I know how isolating this path can feel. You often feel like you're losing your mind, when you're actually, finally, finding your true self. The world doesn't give us maps for this inner territory, so we often stumble in the dark, convinced we're the only ones. So today, I want to offer you that map. While there are many models for this journey, I'm going to guide you through 5 universal stages of this transformation that countless people have recognized on their path, from that very first calling to the embodiment of your true, conscious self. By the end, you'll be able to see exactly where you are, understand the purpose of each phase, and know what beautiful shifts are coming next. This journey isn't a straight line. It's more like a spiral, a dance. You might revisit stages as you go deeper, and that's perfectly okay. The goal isn't to race to the end but to honor where you are right now. So, take a deep breath, and let's walk this sacred path together. If this is the kind of conversation your soul has been asking for, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss future guidance on your journey. The first stage of a real spiritual awakening is almost always kicked off by what mystics for centuries have called the dark night of the soul. It feels like a total collapse. But here's the secret: it is not the collapse of you, it is the collapse of the false self, the egoic identity you mistook for you. This stage is often triggered by a major life event, the loss of a loved one, a painful breakup, a health crisis, or a career falling apart. But for some, it arrives with no obvious reason at all. It's simply a deep, internal implosion. You wake up one day, and the life you've meticulously built feels like a stage set for a play you no longer want to act in. You feel like your life is a lie. The hallmark of this stage is a profound sense of meaninglessness. The goals that once drove you now seem hollow. The pleasures that once distracted you feel empty. You're haunted by huge, existential questions. Is this really all there is? What is the point of any of this? Who am I, really? This is a time of intense inner pain. You might feel a deep exhaustion that no amount of sleep can fix. You might feel despair and horror when you look at the world. You feel completely lost, alone, and disconnected, from others, yourself, and from any sense of God or a higher power you once had. While it can share symptoms with depression, a dark night is a spiritual transformation in its rawest form. Your soul is crying out for a deeper truth. The ego, the part of you that identifies with your name, job, and story, is fighting for its life. It built a world based on control and security, and now that world is turning to dust. It will scream that you are failing, that you are broken, that you are going mad. But the truth, as Carl Jung understood, is that this breakdown is a breakthrough. It's a necessary unraveling. You can't build a new temple on rotten foundations. The ground has to be cleared. This stage feels like a death because it is a death. It is the death of illusion. It's the ego's winter. You are being stripped of everything you are not, so that who you are can finally be revealed. The pain you feel is the friction of your soul breaking free from a lifetime of illusion. Your only job here is to surrender. To stop fighting it. To let the false structures fall without trying to patch them back together. You are not falling apart, you are falling into place. After some time in the darkness, a tiny pinprick of light appears. It's not the sunrise yet, but it's a single star in the night sky. This marks the beginning of the second stage, the inner calling and the phase of spiritual seeking. The question, why is this happening to me, slowly starts to change into, what is this trying to teach me? The suffering might not be over, but now it's mixed with something new, curiosity. A spark of wonder ignites in the emptiness. This is your soul, stirring from its sleep and asking for more. You develop an insatiable hunger for meaning. This sends you on a quest. You become a voracious seeker of truth. You might find yourself devouring books on spirituality, philosophy, and quantum physics. You're drawn to the teachings of ancient mystics, the wisdom of Eastern traditions, or the psychological depth of figures like Carl Jung. You might start meditating, trying yoga, or feeling a powerful need to be alone in nature. This is the stage where you start to see through society's illusions. The collective hypnosis of consumerism, competition, and chasing external validation becomes painfully obvious. You see how unhappy most people are, running on a treadmill of wanting and getting, and you know in your bones that you just can't run that race anymore. A magical thing starts to happen in this stage, synchronicities. These are meaningful coincidences that feel like breadcrumbs left on your path by the universe. You'll think of a friend you haven't seen in years, and they'll call you that day. You'll have a deep question on your mind, and the answer will pop out of a song lyric or a random book you open. You might start seeing repeating numbers, like 1111, that feel like little winks from the cosmos, reassuring you that you're on the right track. Your sensitivity goes way up. You become more aware of energy. Crowded places and negative conversations can feel incredibly draining. You might find you can't watch violent movies or listen to harsh music anymore. You're also becoming more empathetic, feeling what others are feeling much more deeply. This can be overwhelming at first, as you learn to tell the difference between your energy and theirs. But there's a subtle trap here. The ego is clever, and it can hijack the spiritual search for its own purposes. It can turn the quest for enlightenment into just another form of collecting, gathering spiritual concepts and experiences without ever really letting them change you. You can become a spiritual tourist, sampling everything but committing to nothing. The danger is confusing knowing all the spiritual jargon with true, embodied wisdom. But even this is part of the path. Eventually, you realize the truth you're looking for isn't in any book or guru. It is, and always has been, inside you. If the dark night was a compression of the self, and the seeking was the shell cracking open, this third stage is the glorious, expansive breakthrough. It's the direct experience of the truths you were previously just reading about. This is the expansion of consciousness. This stage is marked by profound moments of insight, often called glimpses or mini-awakenings. These aren't just ideas, they are felt experiences that temporarily dissolve the ego's grip and reveal a deeper reality. Suddenly, for a moment that feels like an eternity, the sense of being a separate me in a body just dissolves. You look at a tree or a stranger, and the boundary between you and it disappears. You realize, with a shocking clarity, that you are not just a wave, but the entire ocean. This is the realization of oneness, the core of all mystical traditions. You see that everything is connected, that we are all expressions of one divine source, one universal consciousness. With this realization comes a profound peace and bliss that is unlike any fleeting happiness you've ever known. It's a peace that exists underneath all of life's circumstances. Fear, the ego's primary weapon, is temporarily replaced by a deep, unconditional love, not a romantic love, but a love that is the fundamental frequency of existence itself. In this state, your perception of the world transforms. The world becomes more vivid and alive. A simple walk in the park can feel like a walk through paradise. The beauty of an ordinary crack in the pavement can bring you to tears. It's as if a veil has been lifted, and you are seeing reality for the first time, unfiltered by the judgmental mind. Your intuition becomes razor-sharp. You just know things without knowing how you know them. You're no longer just thinking your way through life, you're feeling and intuiting your way. The ego thinks, but the spirit knows. Your inner guidance becomes a clear and trustworthy voice. These expansive states might come and go at first. You'll have a profound experience of oneness, and then, a few days later, find yourself stuck in traffic and feeling totally contracted again. This can be confusing. But something has fundamentally changed. You now have a memory of home. You have a new North Star. You know, from direct experience, that you are more than your problems, your personality, and your pain. The journey is no longer about seeking these states, but about stabilizing this awareness in your everyday life, which leads us to the next stage. That glimpse of the infinite is profound, but it's not the end of the road. Awakening isn't about having peak experiences, it's about transforming your baseline existence. This brings us to stage 4, integration and embodiment. This is arguably the longest and most challenging part of the path, where spiritual insight becomes your practical, daily reality. This stage is about closing the gap between the mountaintop and the marketplace. How do you hold on to that feeling of oneness while you're doing your taxes? How do you stay centered when your kid is having a meltdown? How do you embody love when a colleague betrays your trust? Integration is the process of letting your new awareness seep into every corner of your life. It's about consciously purging whatever no longer aligns with your soul's truth. This can be a time of huge external change. Friendships based on old dramas may gently fall away. You might feel called to change your career to something that feels more purposeful. Your relationship with your body may shift, as you feel a desire for cleaner foods and movement that honors it as a sacred vessel. This is the stage of deep shadow work. The light of your expanded consciousness shines a spotlight on all the hidden corners of your mind still living in fear. All the repressed emotions, the shame, the rage, the grief, will come to the surface to be healed. But now, you can meet them differently. Instead of being consumed by them, you can hold them with compassion, like a loving parent holding a crying child. You learn that healing isn't about getting rid of these parts, but integrating them into a bigger, more whole version of yourself. Your relationships become your spiritual practice. You start to see every interaction as a chance to choose love over fear, connection over judgment. You start speaking your truth with kindness, saying no without guilt, and learning to belong to yourself first. This is where you build the new you, not a perfect you, but an authentic you. It's like weaving the golden threads of your spiritual insights into the dense fabric of your human life. Every conscious breath, every mindful action, every compassionate response is a thread. Over time, these threads create a whole new tapestry, a new way of being in the world. Patience is everything in this stage. It's a slow rewiring of your nervous system and your old habits. There will be times you feel you've lost it, where the ego pulls you back into old dramas. But the difference is, now you see it happening. And that seeing is freedom. You learn to be gentle with yourself, knowing that stumbling is part of the path. This stage is about moving from knowing the path to walking the path. It's the journey from your head to your heart, and finally, into your hands and feet.
After the deep, ongoing work of integration, a new way of being starts to dawn. This is stage 5, the stage of conscious mastery and service. Now, the word mastery can sound intimidating. It doesn't mean you're perfect or that you're done growing. It doesn't mean you're free from all human challenges. Instead, it means your fundamental identity has shifted. You no longer identify with the ego or the personality. You know yourself, consistently, as the conscious awareness in which the personality appears. In this stage, the war inside you is over. The struggle between ego and soul has dissolved into a unified whole. You no longer resist your fear or sadness, there's simply space for it all to arise and pass within the stillness of your presence. You have become whole. Your focus naturally and effortlessly shifts from yourself to others. Not out of a sense of duty, but as a spontaneous overflow of the love and peace that you now are. Compassion is no longer something you practice, it's something that radiates from you. Your very presence can feel like a healing force. This is the embodiment of sage energy. You might be called to teach or guide, but often, the service is much quieter. It's the silent presence of the friend who listens without judgment, the grounded calm of the leader in a crisis, the unconditional love that holds space for another's pain. You become a living demonstration of peace. Life begins to flow with a new ease and grace. You've learned to surrender to a higher will, trusting life's unfolding without needing to control it. You co-create your reality from a place of inner alignment, and life starts to mirror back the coherence you hold within. You understand that every challenge is a doorway and every loss is a liberation.
The seeker has finally come home. But you realize the home you were looking for was never lost. It was here all along, just hidden beneath the noise of the mind. The spiritual journey, you see, was never about getting somewhere else. It was always about arriving fully, right here, right now. You are no longer on a spiritual journey, you are the journey. You are life itself, awake and aware of itself. This isn't a final destination, but a dynamic, ever-unfolding dance with the divine, lived in ordinary, extraordinary human form. And there you have it, the 5 great stages of spiritual awakening. As you can see, this is not a journey for the faint of heart. It is the ultimate hero's journey, the journey back to the truth of who you are. Remember that every single stage is sacred and necessary. There's no need to rush or compare your journey to anyone else's. Trust your own timing. Trust the process. The same intelligence that guides the planets in their orbits and makes the lotus bloom from the mud is guiding your unfolding. You are not alone in this. You are part of a vast, planetary awakening of consciousness. Now, I would love to hear from you. This is a community, and no one should feel alone here. Please take a moment to reflect and let me know in the comments which stage you resonate with the most right now. Your story could be the very thing that helps someone else feel seen on their own path. You are not alone on this journey. And if you're looking for more direct guidance to navigate this profound transformation, I've created a free, spiritual awakening journal, just for you. It's filled with powerful prompts designed for each of these 5 stages to help you integrate the lessons and deepen your self-awareness. You can find the link to download it in the description below. Thank you for allowing me to be a guide on your path today. The journey of awakening is the most courageous and rewarding path a human can walk. If you are deep in the dark night, know that the dawn is coming. If you are in the joy of expansion, savor it. And if you are integrating, be patient with yourself. Every step is a blessing. To go deeper, I recommend watching my video on Navigating the Dark Night of the Soul next. It will give you practical tools and the compassionate understanding to move through that challenging but vital stage. Be well, and walk in truth.